it's my pleasure to invite Mr. Sivasailam, Special Secretary Telecom, Government of India. So he's an officer in the 85 batch of IAS allocated to the Karnataka cadre. He graduated in Mechanical Engineering from University of Delhi. He's done his postgraduate studies at the Faculty Management Studies, University of Delhi, and the London School of Economics. He also has a postgraduate diploma in intellectual property rights from the National Law School of India, University in Bangalore. His last assignment in his cadre was at the Department of Public Enterprises in Government of Karnataka, where he served in the position of Additional Chief Secretary. He served in the Departments of Health, Family Welfare, Forest, Ecology, and Environment departments of the Government of Karnataka as Principal Secretary. Earlier in his stint with the central government, he also served as the Deputy Secretary, AIS, in the Ministry of Personal, Public Grievances and Pensions. Currently, he's serving as Special Secretary Telecom to the Government of India, and he's driving the new telecom policy and also the early adoption of 5G in India. He's been a member of national award-winning teams in Panchayat Raj administration and e-governance applications. So please welcome Mr. Sivasailam. While he's coming on board, I'll also like to introduce Mr. Pathak, because they both will be presenting together. So Mr. Pathak is Deputy Director General in Department of Telecom, DoT. He's an MTech from BHU. He joined the central government through engineering services in 1985. He has wide experience in promoting domestic manufacturing of telecom equipment and services. He was instrumental in the liberalization of FDI in telecom services up to 100% and preferential market access policy for telecom products. He was also instrumental in setting up TSDSI, which some of us are familiar with, and hopefully you'll learn more about it today. As the Deputy Director General, International Cooperation DoT, is looking after WTO, bilateral and multilateral negotiations, telecom centers of excellence, TCOEs, national and international exhibitions, coordination of telecom standards development society, India, Secretary TEPC, and Director TCOE India Coordination Center. So please welcome Mr. Pathak. So I'd like to invite both of you to the stage, please.
Good morning to all of you. Thanks for the introduction. And, this is basically a non-technical presentation, so it gives you some time to relax. But nevertheless, the purpose of our coming here is to bring to your notice as to some of the important initiatives which we have taken up from the Government of India for promotion of 5G ecosystem in our country. The logic is that we have always noted that we are late in getting into the various technical ecosystems, and the last being the LTE. But we want to ensure that as far as 5G is concerned, we are not only early in its adoption, but also are participative in the development of this ecosystem, as you can see. One of the purposes of making this presentation at the National Communications Conference is that all of you, we would like to extend an invitation to all of you to participate in developing the ecosystem and in working with various initiatives which we have taken, and to impress upon you how important it could be, and what are the opportunities which technical personnel like all of you here would be encouraged and could be facilitated. This is a simple thing as the manner in which we see 5G. The key to remember is we consider it to be not just evolutionary, 2G or 3G, whatever one might say, but from the social point of view, 3G is considered to be an evolution over 2G. 4G is considered to be an evolution of 3G. I'm looking at it exclusively from the public point of view, a non-technical point of view. And when you look at it, there are a lot of things to say about 5G. besides being evolutionary, it is also revolutionary in content. And we find that in connectivity, content, and computing, it's got both evolutionary as well as revolutionary aspects. And what we are looking for is an unlimited collaboration coming from India on this ecosystem. You're already, those of you who are familiar with 5G are also familiar with certain applications which have already started hitting the ground. 5G why is it that India is interested in 5G? Largely on the social implications of it. We do believe that 5G has a potential for inclusive growth, potential to bridge the urban-rural divide with competitiveness of manufacturing. I'll come to you specifically on that. Job creation. I mean, there's no point in doing all this if we find that we are not able to do jobs. New jobs will be created because a whole lot of things which are today not possible will become possible. Yesterday I was at Visakhapatnam looking at with a group of mining people. I mean, it was a partnership summit, and I was there with a group of miners. And they were telling, I told them that 5G will help you explore the oceans. They told me, sir, why are you going to the ocean? We require to explore the terrestrial thing first, because most mining business today is speculative. We don't have an exact estimate of where the good ore can be found, and it is only speculative. And if you really want to have a good find, it's so prohibitively costly that you better not do it. So 5G gives you a method to estimate and enable manufacturing, and to do that. I mean, that was one of the applications which we discussed yesterday. So that's the idea of competitiveness in manufacturing. And job creation is very, very important. Industry 4.0 aims at something like 100 million jobs for this country, and that's the national level. We should also be attempting some good chunk of it. Improved energy efficiency and public health, education. These are all applications which are possible for this. We just want to, this is with support from TSDSI and Professor Abhay Karandikar, who have helped us put this slide. 3GPP standards are in process and will be completed by 2020. We are all the government is actively collaborating with the TSDSI, and we are working with TSDSI in 3GPP standards as well as in the ITU. You are aware of the dimensions of 5G, so I don't need to go into those details. We do believe that there could be mature deployment of 5G by 2022, and therefore we need to be, if 2022 is the target, then we need to be there with our products and an idea of products much before, because mature deployment means somebody will start thinking about 6G maybe by 2025. So those things are likely to happen. Early trials, important enough, and that's an area where we would solicit your participation, a very effective participation in this. And some definition, we have all been told by our experts that although we have a certain broad framework of what is 5G, there's still to be clarity is still to evolve on it. So from the Indian, is there an Indian perspective on this? So that's an important aspect for you to consider. This is some 5G applications in India which we have put together, the areas where it could matter. The whole manufacturing, which is such a huge area, we have put it under Industry 4.0, but you know that itself can fill up books and pages and a huge amount of research. These are some of the areas which we have identified. So there is a huge amount of work to be done, and new work to be done. It's not just or adoptive or adaptive work. It's actually fresh and new work to be done. What have we done? Now, what has happened is we have constituted a high-level forum, as any government would look to do, and we have included all the 3 departments as in it, and I'm happy to tell you that we have had 2 meetings with almost 7% attendance, either physically or through the internet or video conferencing. So we have a, you can see the people who are concerned are all who's who of this business today. And they are our leaders, and you can say gurus, to take us into the, to make us, to get us into this 5G ecosystem successfully. There are also some of officials like us. We bring up the rear to ensure the coordination, and as part of that exercise, I'm here before you today. This is what is our 5G vision, and you can read it. It's pretty simple. We have tried to link it to social betterment, as any technology should do in order to attract the public imagination, and that's what we have done. The same thing, I mean, how are we going to do this? The most important thing for you to note is the various items which the expert group has, which I had mentioned to you, the 5G forum has identified. These are all the work, what we have only indicated to you, the chairperson of the various groups. And the chairperson works, is not that the chairperson takes a few books and start developing it and then submits a note. Each of these chairperson has almost a minimum of 5 experts working with them, and also a lot of contributions which come from freelance or otherwise, which they seek out from the peer groups. So our idea is to request you to take note of this. Of course, this presentation will be there. The purpose is to, you can contact them. All of them are very eminent personalities in their own field, and who have contributed a lot, and who have also volunteered. I mean, this is, here it was not that the government decided that you be the chair. That is not the way by which it was done. These are all people who have volunteered that we are prepared to head it. Please give us this responsibility, and we will work out things for you. So you must have seen that people have taken work which they feel they can do a good job, and that's how we went about. This is an important area which I thought you can access each one of them. Each one of them is accessible, and I would request you to, if you have any ideas to them specifically, you could go ahead, or else there is another alternative also which I will have to at the end of this slide. This I had mentioned it to you. Our, from the government point of view, our idea is to be on the 5G ecosystem as fast as possible, along with the rest of the world, rather than be late, and also participate in it. So I can only share with you, I mean, I am pretty certain Madam Pamela Kumar will explain to you how TSDSI has intervened, and in the ITU we have a standard, LMLC standard, which is actually a product worked out by several researchers, and it is now part of the 5G standard. So for the first time, India is also a part of the standard setting ecosystem, which it never had until 4G. So from the social point of view, well, we make 5G ready for the entire country. That's the vision. Rural deployments, it's not that we go into the urban areas and forget about the rural. These are technologies which can be rolled out equally effectively in all regions. And I don't know whether this is our aim is to make it a realistic target. Something like 50 million access points at about $200. We have taking it based on purchasing power parity standards. That's what will make it effective. If this is done, I think we will be well and truly having a huge spread of 5G. Next. As you must have seen, this time in the telecom there was nothing on that we earned some 60,000 crores in spectrum auctions and things like that. There was a simple announcement on the 5G testbed. This is just a 250 crore initiative, but it found mention in the budget. And what it does is, it tells you the government's commitment that we are willing to support. And what I was told was, which attracted the PM's attention, was that this is the 250 crore spending on the testbed is not so important, as much as the coming together of 16 institutions and a whole lot of industries and which will be there on the testbed. And secondly, it is something which is a collaborative effort of almost 17 institutions. And he said that this is something which is phenomenal and that he found it attractive. I'm happy to tell you that this is already on. We should be having it start off very quickly. Of course, the year is ending, but even in this year, they are entitled to I think a 19 crore budget. So within a month, 34 crore budget, so this is a large amount. So within a month, the test bed will be richer by 34 crores. Next. I have already discussed with you about the use case. This is an important issue where your participation of researchers, students, and aspiring startups would be of great use. And I'm pretty certain Ma'am Pamela Kumar heads this task force, and I'm pretty certain she will speak on this, about the use case labs and how to go about. Innovation, this is also a carrying forward from this, and we're also working out a mechanism headed by Professor Bhaskar Ramurthy as to how do we fund 5G research and how do we fund the startup ecosystem, something which we should be ready with a plan around June or July. Opportunities, this I put together with contributions from Professor Karandikar and Ma'am Kumar about what can be done. And this slide should tell you about the various opportunities. Maybe I guess that the first statement itself, that software-defined network should give you a lot of ideas on that. Contributions in all these are open. M2M standards, that is also an important area where we are working. Next. This is the purpose of my, the backgrounder was to come to this slide, as it's a 5G forum, it's a collaborative platform. It is not just a group of people whom we have assembled at the Government of India level. Ultimately it will percolate down, and its percolation is in the form of, as public institutions like the testbeds. We do believe that many more testbeds will be necessary over the next 2 years itself. But we can make a start with one of them and see how it is getting loaded, and on that basis we could go for more. These are some of the areas where we would solicit your cooperation and participation. How can you do that? You can participate in the evolving ecosystem. That's at the level of professors, and then you could develop products, national level projects. You could have collaboratively created on use case scenarios. For example, I can only give you anecdotal experiences. I see huge capability of 5G in water management, wherever water consumption is large. We use 10 times more water, even for crops like sugarcane. if we can control them better, we can still have sugarcane and still have Kaveri going to Tamil Nadu. This is our request and the invitation to all of you to work on the 5G ecosystem. It can change things for India, usher in the industrial 4.0, besides ensuring that we are better off tomorrow than what we are today. Thank you.
Very good morning. In fact, I simply just want to supplement that in addition to whatever has been shared here, basically we don't want the user like we have been for 2G, 3G and 4G without knowing what is in those boxes. So first time we are just being the technology creator. So our purpose from the government is that we want that industry, academia and government to come together such that when this 5G becomes reality and maybe after 10 years at least we should have 5G products from India. So that is our aim and that's why we are here. That we be creator of 5G, we join them with these others, these technology words, because earlier we were not knowing what is called this 4G, we are just using whatever was being told that this is 4G and use it. We are so being consumer, now we should creator. So that's what, and I think very important will be that government will be making available the necessary infrastructure and supporting you in form of the spectrum, in form of the this use case, and we will be working with the operators also for the more and more field trial. So I think that is important. Earlier this was missing. So this will be making by the government. And thank you. In case of any question, I think we'll be just taking sir after. Yeah. Thank you.